Hey everyone, this is Patty Younger with My Younger Life, and today's podcast is titled Frustration, Failure, and Faith. This podcast is based off of a blog that I wrote back in 2015. It was the year I was really trying to make it as an artist. Really thought I would give a good run at it, and I would use a blog site as a way to kind of keep myself honest and keep myself in focus. And it turned out to be such an amazing adventure. Many different ways. I learned a lot about the frustration, failure, and faith that this one particular episode is entitled. While I was going through that year, I won't reveal to you whether I was successful or not. You can read those for yourself, and I may explore these as I go through this venture of podcasting, so I don't want to spoil the cliffhanger for you. But this particular one took place later in the year, and I really wanted to make a run at it. So I had this one art piece. It took me, 4-5 months to complete, about 25 hours of work. It's colored pencil on black paper, which is what I generally like to work with. I love working with colored pencil, and colored pencil takes a very, very long time. You invest a lot of yourself and a lot of your time and a lot of your energy into producing them, and they don't generally yield a big profit. But that is my strength. It's what I love to do, so it's what I do, because it's what I am. So I was working on this piece, and I titled it Interconnected, because I loved how all the pipes that were in this piece worked together. All of these, they were interconnected and they ran together, and it reminded me of people. How that ideas and things and everything flows through us. We flow this energy, and we share this energy. In this case, it was pipe, so we'd be sharing whatever it was flowing through the pipe. And, it only takes one person. Forgive me if this sounds kind of gross, but it only takes one person getting a big clog to mess up that whole flow. So I decided to do a series on relationships, and they're going to be kind of industrial, realistic, abstracted. I know those are contradictory, but this one is all pipes. So I spent all this time, like I said, about 25 hours of work, a few months, because I like to break it up. And I decided I was going to enter this local competition. It was about an hour down the road. And it's pretty big for local standards. It was a pretty big festival and a pretty big competition. It's one I went to several times as a kid, and I really liked the environment and the volume of artwork that I saw there. So I thought I'd enter this. I'll give it a shot. So I entered this competition and invited one of my friends, who was also an artist, to go with me, and we would go to the big reveal. Now, the big reveal is when the juror or jury, depending on how many people, in this case it was just one professional art judging this competition, the reveal is when they have a big reception right before they open the show, and they reveal who won what and who was juried into and out of the show. This show was fairly competitive for our area, so, I liked my odds of getting in, but it was still not easy. And we made the trip down that evening. It was really fun, dressed up in my best artsy clothes, and we went down there and rubbed elbows with other artists, art patrons, had a little cheese, a little punch, and walked around and looked at the artwork. As we were waiting on the big reveal, because they had some works that weren't there. They were shrouded with fabric in the room where they had chairs set up, and we could all go and sit and listen to the juror talk about things. I couldn't find my piece anywhere, so it wasn't hanging on the walls. So that meant one of two things. That meant either I got something, I won something, or I didn't get in at all. So I was either going to make the great upper echelon, or I was going to be reduced to the depths of rejection. So we sat down, and the juror started talking about her process of choosing the artworks in the show and choosing the winners. And the question she asked was, did the picture set a mood for me? Did it convey a message? Did I feel something from it? I started looking at the show around me, and it was all realism. I didn't really see hardly any abstracts, and they were almost all paintings. Wasn't looking good for me. She herself, by nature, was a watercolorist. Ugh. Not that I don't like watercolorists. You guys are great. I am not a watercolorist by any means. I do not like the fact that it's runny, that I can't control it, that it bleeds, it runs, I get frustrated, and I like control. So I knew probably not going to be the one of the people underneath the fabrics. She revealed them one at a time, talked about them, and built up to the grand prize. And right, I wasn't in any of those. It was rejecting, it was disappointing. I was very frustrated. I knew my work was not that bad, but she evidently thought it was. Yeah. So once a lot of time had expired where I thought that it was polite and I could leave, I retrieved my artwork from the closet of rejected works, the room of shame, yes, the dungeon of failure, and took my picture with my tail tucked and drove an hour home. Tried to hide the fact that I was greatly disappointed. I was greatly disappointed. There was a lot of work in that piece. And it was good, daggone it. It was not worthy of rejection. It hurt. I didn't draw for 3 months. I didn't touch paper and pencil. The rejection followed me, and I didn't even realize that I was feeling it. As time went on, school started back. I had to go back to my teaching job. This was summer. And time got away from me, and my ego was so stomped and bruised and bashed that I just really didn't care. I decided to take a break. Time passed, the break grew. I just couldn't get that desire back. It was kind of hard. I'd lost that drive for a little while because I was battling this defeated cloud that just kept hanging over me. And one day I got to thinking, all artists go through these moments. All people go through these moments, not just artists. Doesn't matter what age you are. You do something you feel really good about and it gets rejected, or you like someone and they reject you, or someone says something and you're like, oof, that kind of hurt. You feel rejected, you feel hurt, you feel battled. You just have to shake it off. And I know that sounds easier than said, but trust me, it is. But I kept asking myself, where is my faith at? Where is this belief that I was created to be more? And who was I created to be? I wasn't created for that juror at that show. My art wasn't created for her. It was created for me. I created that piece of work because it gave me pleasure. It conveyed my feelings. It gave me a joy, and I was so at peace when I was creating it. That's how my Creator felt when He created me. He didn't create me for me. He created me for Him. God created me for His pleasure, His delight, the joy He must have felt as He created me. And I think about during that time of rejection, how He felt rejected, how He felt that pain. He felt it not because it existed on its own, but because I allowed it to exist. I gave it legs. I gave it a personality. I gave it strength in me. Rejection is so much damaging because it's all self-inflicted. Rejection is a choice, and I chose that rejection. I allowed one person's opinion of one drawing to defeat me and rob me of drawings I could have done for months. Wow, I did that. To completely rob me of my identity as an artist and as a person. One act, one simple act, one person. I allowed that. So she didn't pick my picture. Big stinking deal. It doesn't change a thing. I'm not here for the approval of anyone. I am here to live my life in the best way that I choose. And my God created me to do that. To be less, to do less, leaves my empty purpose, my lack in what my purpose is. In Job 37:5, he said, "The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life." His Spirit. Wow. His Spirit. It's pretty incredible to think about what God's Spirit is in us. And I really hadn't intended on making this into a sermon, but it's real. Rejection is real. It is really painful. They did this study on rejection and how it affects the brain. They noticed that those nerve centers, those regions in your brain, when you feel rejected, it stimulates the regions of the brain in the same way that physical pain stimulates those exact regions. They even found that acetaminophen helped treat rejection. I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing Tylenol for your rejection. Don't do that. But I want you to understand, yeah, it's real. We can't pass it off and blow it off, though, and just say, "Psst, so they hurt my feelings, big deal." You're going to go through a process. I went through a process. You know what heals a physical pain? If I break my arm today, you know what heals it? Time, treatment, patience. Same thing with rejection. Time, treatment, patience. My time had gone by. My patience had gone by. My treatment had gone by. Those 3 months were over. It was time to move on. I was healed. So in all that, where was my faith? It never left me. I still had it. It just got pushed a little back underneath that cloud of doubt. What does all this mean in the long run? The next time that somebody doesn't like my artwork, am I going to feel rejected? I'm going to feel rejected, probably. But I will recognize it sooner. I will go through that healing process quicker, and I will recover and move on with my head up. I just want to encourage you guys. That's the whole purpose of this. It's to encourage you, to let you know rejection is a normal part of life. We all feel it. It's part of a higher thinking order that we as human beings have. But don't live in it. Don't dwell on it. Don't water it. Don't fertilize it. Choke it out. Go through that time of process of healing, and then move on with a greater understanding of who you're created to be. I hope this encouraged you guys in some way. I love you, and I really want to give you some morsels of my life that will help you in your life. Thanks for listening, and until next time, have a great day.